Um, just start with what happened to that 70-year-old woman recently.
So it was reported that just in Launceston here, which is 100 k's away, a 70-year-old woman passed away in the back of an ambulance at the Launceston General after the ambulance was ramped for 9 hours. Now that was in the media and there was a bit of an uproar about it, but as always, the level of investigation only goes one layer down. I put up a post saying how disgraceful it was, and in the comments of what I put up, two locals who were in that hospital that week, one's partner had a baby and another guy had a procedure, and they both said that the hospitals were nearly empty. They're empty of staff, the beds were empty. One of them had a fair old look around while he could, hardly a soul, and yet ambulances are ramped and people are dying. So I'm not sure what's going on, but yeah, it's not good. It's not good.
Okay, we're here in Devonport, and our first Tasmanian we're going to interview is
Steve Egger.
Now, Steve, let's start with the housing crisis and the rentals here. What's happened to the rental market?
Well, I'll say since COVID, but it's been on decline for a long time, really. Basically, the government hasn't looked after our population. There's 550,000 Tasmanians here. There's nowhere near enough houses. The old housing houses are all full. So anybody, today if I lost my house and I had to go and find a rental, there just isn't one. And when one pops up, you've got 100 people turning up to go and look at it, basically. So, and not to mention the rent's gone, probably tripled really, or doubled at least.
Have the wages tripled?
Nah, of course not. Nah. The cost of living here is through the roof. People see fuel as the obvious one because everybody uses it, but it's really everything. Timber, trades, food, the whole lot. And Tasmanians are already low income earners, so,
And you told me that the government had brought in a law of how people can increase the rent?
Yeah, so how I understand it is you can now increase the rent to 10% of the value of the house property. And of course, the house properties all just went up massively. So rents are now, 400, gone from $250 to $400 a week like that, and nobody's questioned it.
And who's buying the houses? Is it Tasmanians?
A lot of mainlanders. Yeah, a lot of mainlanders swooped in, and because even, a $400,000 house, which is probably dear for us here, is pittance for somebody that just sold their $3 million mansion, So they come down into the nice, quaint little towns and buy up the houses. Yeah.
And how about you were talking about people dying suddenly here, and people talking about it but not really doing much about it?
I've never heard so many sirens and ambulances in my life, and I've just recently closed my business after 7 years. And
what were you doing?
I had, we'll call it a second-hand shop, but it was much more than that. So for 7 years, and look, you'd probably hear an ambulance once a week, and now it's 2 or 3 times a day. But nobody questions it. There's not car crashes happening every corner. There's everybody knows somebody that's just passed away suddenly. Yeah.
And these old people or young people?
No, they're all ages. But look, just recently, my friends lost two two people in their 40s, both died in their sleep. Yeah.
And can you tell us the story about the crystallised arm? That just blew my mind.
So, in the shot arm, we'll call it, some friends have now got frozen shoulder. They're older people, and they've realised that 9 of their friends have got frozen shoulder as well, and it's all the jab arm. One has a crystallised shoulder that the doctors can't really explain why or how. Although I think the old doctor, the old local doctor, said that it's happening quite a lot, but didn't really give too much, information onto why. So yes, he's got a crystallised shoulder and has to go and have an operation where they've told him that they will be using a hot water treatment.
To what? Sort of melt out the crystals in his arm?
I have no idea. It sounds ludicrous to me. I've never heard of anything like it, let alone a crystallised shoulder. But, using hot water to do it is... And that's from the doctor. Like, that's a fair dinkum operation. So I've never heard of it in my life. But.
And what's the mood like in the town? Is there a lot of defiance, a lot of people arcing up, or are they quiet, or are they just getting on with it?
It's gone through stages, but look, I've never seen something so polar opposite where, half the population is just mowing their lawns and going about their business, and the other half is so concerned about their security and their livelihood and their well-beings. So here in Devonport, at least, or I'll say Tassie, because I'm fairly well connected with everyone, it's everyone that's awake knows. Nobody else, gives a toss, really.
Tell us about the bank. That was an amazing
bank. So this is the ANZ Bank of Devonport. So my mum wanted to get over $10,000 cash out, which they were horrified at, the bank. And they said, look, we can transfer it straight away to wherever you want. And mum was insisted that she would like the cash. They then started questioning her as to why she wanted it. Mum's 75, and I could see that, she was shaking her head and that. So I went over there, and sure enough, they wanted. She told them repairs, right? Just for something to say, just to get them off their back. And they're going, oh, you don't want to be scammed, and you should be getting receipts and all the rest of it. And I said to him, mate, can you get her money for her? And he said, yeah, I can. And I said, well, you run off and do that then. And she's an adult, and I'm her adult son, and this is what she'd like to do. And anyway,
it's her money.
And it's her money, yeah. It took 3 days. And when we went back, they tried again to talk her out of it. And then when they went to give her the money, it wouldn't dispense. I don't know whether that was a bit of a ploy, but, would you like to wait? It'd probably be half an hour. I said, yeah, we'll wait. That's good. And she eventually got it. But now that bank has just announced that they're going cashless. So that's it. No more cash.
Sorry, the bank is going cashless?
Yep. And this is Devonport. Yeah. So
what's the purpose of the bank if it's cashless?
Oh, they'll do all your transactions digitally, but they don't want to give you any of your own money just in case you spend it or don't put it back.
Why would they need a building then? Isn't it just all online?
You're asking the wrong person. I don't know. They move their ATMs inside the bank. So from the outside wall, they put it on the inside wall. Why would they do that? Like, it would cost thousands of dollars so people actually go in their bank and use the ATMs. Yeah. I don't know. I don't bank there. It's just crazy to me. Yeah. And in my bank, I went down to my bank the other day, and the poor lady had her mask on, and she's clearly struggling. And I said to her, look, it doesn't worry me. You can take your mask off. And she said, oh, it's the bank's policy. I said, but you can't breathe, And she just shrugged her shoulders. And after I finished doing what I was doing, and she said, is there any feedback or whatever? I said, yep. I said, could you please tell the Bank of Us, whoever makes these decisions, that as a customer, I don't think, you guys should have to wear masks and struggle breathing. Oh, thank you, she said, Off she went panting, I just find it's just amazing.
You got a lot of people here talking about, there's a lot of people frightened that there's a financial crisis heading our way or are already there.
Yep.
Are they talking about that at all?
The general public is concerned. I look after unmanned service stations, so I'm continually interacting with people, and I start the conversation off, petrol's, fuel's dear.
When you say unmanned, so you pay with a credit card, there's actually no one there?
Oh, yeah, because you guys are from the mainlanders, don't see.
We have it a few over there in a few country towns.
So I look after half a dozen of them, and it's like... it's totally unmanned, so you can go there 24 hours, but just use your card, which is fine while it works, but when it doesn't, It's,
and and there's no employment there then?
Well, that's why they employ me.
So employ one of you to do 6.
So I do, keep it clean, pick up the rubbish, do the petrol dips, that's the duties, because they don't have mechanics in the shops anymore. They don't have, the shop selling stuff. So... but people, so I start that conversation with people to gauge what they feel, gee, petrol's dear, yeah, and everything else is too. Yeah, but we can't do much about that. That's just how it is. And that is the general observation of people here. It's just how it is.
So people generally feel powerless, like Australia's a train, and they're in the back carriage, they've got no say, they've just got to endure whatever's coming.
Yep, and they just accept, like I always get to, well, nothing will change if everybody thinks like that. Oh, what can we do, And this is where I personally struggle, because like I said, I'll go out and do it by myself, but if people come and stand next to you, that's when it gets noticed, and nobody wants to do that here. They're just happy going about their business.
And to finish up, the thing that really moved me in there was, what was your reaction to this year's Anzac Day?
Me personally, I was so wild.
Why were you wild?
Well, because everybody's praising and thanking our diggers for the great, country we live in, which is 100% true, but not this country, not the bullshit that we've got going on. And, so I'm not religious in any way, but I love our diggers, I am thankful that they did what they did for us. And people are going, I said, well, why aren't you fighting for what they fought for, So they've just happy the diggers give their lives so we can have freedom, but we just don't worry about it. We'll just, listen to the government and go about our business. So I did a one-man protest. I did, yeah.
A one-man protest?
Yeah. I was so pissed off. I made a big sign, front and back, and went down to in Devonport here in the busiest roundabout, and I had, don't stop destroying our great country on the front and fuck the government on the back. And
what was the reaction?
Look, I got lots of waves and beeps, and
anyone come to join you?
Nobody come to join. Oh, my partner did. Yeah, she come down. I had one guy call me a crackhead, but I said, well, come over here and say it, and he pulled up, and I went over to talk to him, and he jumped in his car and drove off. So I couldn't be further from the truth, that one. I'm just super passionate, and I just can't understand how we continue just to let it slide along,
And if you had a choice to reach people, what would you think we have to do as a community or as a country to move ahead to a better place?
We've got to get back to the basics. We've got to get back. We're losing all the community spirit. All the markets here are dying. All the small businesses are dying. Like I said, I had my business for 8 years. I chose to close because I could see what was happening. And I'm so glad I did on one hand, but on the other hand, I know that that's what they want, all the small business to go so that we rely on the big business. So I just wish Tasmanians would get back to, or Australians would get back to looking after ourselves first, instead of shipping off all our money and resources to other countries. How about we just look after us first for a while? Yeah, that's what I'd like.